I decided to sleep in today because all week was not getting enough sleep. So now I'm now I'm getting enough sleep. So all right, yeah, I actually got weirded out. Like, wait, what's this whispering? But it's actually in the song itself. So let me see here. Yeah, that's the right one. That's the right monitor. That's the one we want. But all right, yeah, let's get started here. Got some games in the background patching, but we're not gonna be playing any of those games today, so it doesn't really matter. Go ahead and pause it. Amanda, hello. Thank you for the sub. How are you? How was your stream yesterday? Oh, my audio's up. Okay, one second. One second. All right, I'm lowering the music. And how's my voice now? Is my voice better? Haas 00312, thanks for the follow. Oh, ban Haas. Oh yeah, yeah. Go ahead and ban him then. You already know. Oh yeah, Go ahead and ban him. You already know. Yeah, well, we're just not going to not going to entertain the trolls. Yeah, well, we're just not. All right. I've also got my stream coming through on like an entirely separate channel, so I need to turn that off, and then we can get back to it. All right, easy. Yeah, you are still low, but it's a bit better. Okay, let me see. I'm gonna bring desktop audio down here. See if we can find a way to turn up the gain on my microphone. No, I don't want to talk to Windows right now. Deal with anime waifus later. Okay, how's that? Is that too loud or? Cause I got a little bit much better. Okay, good, very good. All right. So now we can chat. So yeah, I wanted to play um, a little Formula One because my 2020 career lined up with the 2021 career, and I think I'm at Spa, but Spa should be in Belgium, so we'll see. We'll see. I need to double check. I'm still trying to learn the courses because there's like 22 of them. All right, let's see. Yeah, no, we're good here. Um, Usually I go for this one
When you get
because
a
this one
chance, make
takes a
sure
long
to run
time.
some of our practice programs. They don't all need to be done in one session, but there's valuable data there to help race strategy and car development.
All right, go for the flying lap. It's faster.
Give us some consistent laps, please. We're looking for good data that we can work into the race strategy.
Yeah, no, this isn't a spa. I think this is the Red Bull track, which is in the Netherlands, and we're in the Netherlands. So my stream title is a lie. uh, all right, DRS.
Great lap. You've nailed what we asked for. Keep it up.
So the reason why we're doing this is we're trying to get a good baseline for just what the car can do around this course. It helps with the qualifying sim. And had a little bit of oversteer there, a little bit. But the aero package is holding up. But this car is flying. I really haven't had to do too much hard braking on this course. It just has a nice flow to it. Very different from Shanghai. That course is very technical. A lot of braking, hard braking.
Okay, super job so far. We're getting great data. Stay focused.
But yeah, we're just mapping out every little thing. So, tire wear, fuel consumption, performance of the vehicle, all of it. And that's invaluable because it allows the engineers to make assumptions, more educated assumptions about what's going to happen during the actual race. Like how much fuel you need and the tires that you need, etc. That's also largely going to be dependent on the weather too, but for the most part. Alright, I gotta try to find a little clean way to get around Matsushita. It's gonna mess up my numbers. You want as much clean air as
Great
possible.
lap. You've nailed what we asked for. Keep it up.
Check our tire wear. Oh, nice. Well, I mean, mediums are normally good out to about 20 laps on average. And softs will take you just a little bit past 10. Or a little under 10, rather. They burn up pretty quickly. But no other tire compound gives you better grip.
Okay, super job so far. We're getting great data. Stay focused.
Lance Stroll right now.
Program complete and a job well
Nice.
done. We got some excellent
I
data
actually
with that
don't need
run,
to
so
overtake.
come on back to the garage and I can talk you through the numbers.
Yeah, I'm not gonna overtake. Only because there's no need for it. I'm gonna cut my fuel setting to lean. Got a little understeer there. that corner's weird, man. It's either getting you're either getting oversteer or you're getting understeer, one or the other. Hopefully not both at the same time, because then you're just sliding. We don't want that.
We have 2 laps of fuel remaining.
Yeah, we'll make it. 2 laps of fuel. We'll pit this lap. Try to save my tires. Because you're only allotted so many tires. So if you burn through all of them in practice, you have to use them for the race. And that just never goes well. But yeah, I feel pretty good. I feel pretty good about the car. I think our odds are really good to be competitive in this race. The first race of the season, which was in Canada, did not go well at all. I barely finished that race. I finished in 21st. It was horrible. No points. Alright, so looking at our graphs here, the dotted line is the estimated tire life, and the yellow line is the actual. So I've beat the estimates, which is good. That's what you want. Alright, lap time. Let's see. Fastest around lap 2.
Is a 1 minute 14.0.
And then we went 2 seconds slower in lap 3, but that was when I was behind Matsushita, so I actually lost 2 seconds behind him. And then lap 4 was blistering fast. That was almost a 114 flat. And then a little slower on lap 5. But we're below the dotted line, which is the estimate. You always want to beat that.
The speed trap, 208.3 miles per hour.
Alright, so Zandervoort is pretty sweet circuit. Alright, let's see. We'll do the track acclimatization sim next. This one's the most difficult one because it's all about racing line and speed. You have to have both, but it's really important to run. And we're running this sim on hards because we don't need to do it super fast. One alert because I work on my dissertation, has a wonderful stream. Thanks, Amanda. Thanks for the band as well. Best of luck on the dissertation. I'll be looking forward to your next progress report in either your Discord server or mine. Yeah, I'm not talking too much because I'm like focusing. You gotta like really
DRS zone is coming up. Get ready to open it. Distance is on your MFD. looking good. Now let's try for purple. You'll get a bonus for consistency if you can chain good corners together. This is the final lap of the program.
Yeah, that was a bad line. Oh no, understeer. I had a little lockup, and it happens. It happens when you're really pushing the car, and you'll see that all the time. Like if you actually watch IRL F1, lockups literally happen every race, but they're not as frequent as they used to be. Like with the new FIA regulations, the brakes are a little better. But like going back to 2017 season, you would see lockups all the time between multiple cars. Like it was bad.
Practice program over. That's all we need for now. Return to the garage pronto.
It's been so long since I've been on Twitch. Hey Rupture, how you doing, my man? Good to see you. Good to see you. What have you been up to? Redeeming the hydrate. Yeah, I do need to stay hydrated for sure. My hydration hasn't been the best. Just hanging out in the Netherlands right now at the Vandervoort circuit.
Of fuel left.
Trying to knock all of these sims out in one go. Sometimes I can do it, sometimes I can't. Depends on the length of the track. Yeah, I was hoping this was Spa, but it's not Spa, unfortunately. I think I may have done Spa already now that I think about it. But even this Spa is different because it doesn't have the bump in the road that Lewis was talking about. They had to do some additional paving on a track because of the torrential downpours that hit the region.
We're low on fuel.
A couple weeks
Box
ago.
in the next 2 laps, please.
Well, at least one thing hasn't changed. My internet is still awful. Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that. You know, Ant was telling me the same thing, and I decided to lower my stream quality to accommodate more people, because you know not everyone has like tip-top internet, so drop resolution to 720p, bitrate to 5000, and haven't had any issues on my end. It's an easy day for my GPU
Our best
anyway.
lap so far is a 1:14.0.
1:14.0. Oh, that's me. Yeah, that's me. And me. But again, this is just an indicator. You know, no one's actually running the qualifying sim just yet, so Yeah, we got 24 minutes of practice. I think we'll get to all of the sims. I think we have enough time.
This test is all about tyre management. Try to control the slip through each corner and take extra care putting the power down at the apex.
So I like the sim because it changes the way that you think about driving. Normally it's about going fast for as long as possible, but this sim forces you to go fast while taking care of your tires at the same time, which is a lot more difficult than it sounds. Almost had a collision coming out of the pit lane. Probably would have been more my fault though, because I didn't give whoever that is, that Perez, enough of a berth. Perez is with Red Bull right now, and he actually just signed a contract extension to 2022. You know, and good for him. Yeah, I'm happy for him. I think if Horner went with a different driver, it would have been a mistake. You know, has Checo did it as good as some would have hoped? No, but he's done better than he's ever had. Like, I'm thinking about his entire career, like, he's never driven better, so keep him on. I'm a bit torn on the Mercedes situation, though, because on one hand, I want to see
test complete, and that was a very good job
Bottas
indeed.
stay.
We got a lot of valuable information out of that.
Oh, nice. We got purple on the first lap. That's what I'm talking about. But yeah, like, part of me wants to see Bottas stay. I think that they're good teammates, Bottas and Hamilton. You know, Hamilton being the GOAT and Bottas being his wingman. But at the same time, George Russell is a rising star. We know he has the talent. And Hamilton may not be racing for too much longer. Maybe, you know, 1 or 2 more seasons. But, you know, I see him retiring soon. You know, especially with him dealing with the effects of long COVID and all of that. So it's entirely possible, you know, that he retires after his 8th championship. Now, he did sign a 2-year extension with Mercedes. That's going to take him through to 2023. And he'll be almost 40 at that time. So it remains to be seen. And if you're Mercedes... Alright, I actually missed my turn. But if you're Mercedes... you do want to have the benefit of picking a new ace driver who can train under Hamilton and learn from him. So, like, it's a really tough situation. Because I don't see Bottas getting better. I mean, Bottas is a great driver, don't get me wrong, but I don't see him getting better. Like, I don't see him being what George Russell could be. So I wouldn't want to be Toto Wolff right now. Like, having to make that decision. I wouldn't want to be. Alright, so tire management is done. Race strategy is done. Team objectives almost done. Okay, fuel management. Let's do this one.
We're testing fuel management here, so try to lift and coast going into the corners. Don't be too aggressive on the power, but remember, you still have to beat the minimum lap time.
Alright, so okay, fuel challenge. This one is even trickier than the tire challenge. I almost never get purples on these. Because it's all about your line, momentum. McMain FN, thank you for the follow. You on Xbox? Oh no, I'm on PC. I'm on PC, unfortunately. But I'm assuming you do. You play F1 on Xbox. How's the scene there? Like, how's the competition? I haven't played much online, so I really can't speak to how good the PC players are, but from what I've seen from other streamers on Twitch, they're really good. So I would get destroyed. I would get destroyed easily. But yeah, it's like you're always trying to find that balance between inertia and fuel and saving it. But sometimes we just let a little bit off the gas.
And a job well done.
Right before the finish line, you get a little
extra. Come on back to the garage and I can talk you through the numbers.
And I actually pulled that off. Yeah, I actually got purple that time. I know I was just complaining that I never get purples, but that's like one little trick I learned. Because the engineer's estimation expects you to go flat out on the straights, which you're supposed to. But if you cut fuel a little bit before you hit the line, the checkered line, you'll get some extra points. And so if you're right on that threshold between green and purple, that'll make the difference. And so knowing that, you can drive a little more aggressively throughout the lap, because if you're too slow, then you don't get the points at all. You have to do another lap.
3 laps of fuel remaining.
Yeah, it depends. Sometimes you get really good lobbies, and sometimes you get one with bad drivers. Yeah, true. Yeah, I can pretty much say like that's for a lot of racing games that I've played. Like you'll have people that try to do things the right way and try to take things seriously, and you have just that one guy that literally just shows his ass off to everyone. Because I play a lot of Forza too, Forza Horizon, and same thing, literally same thing. Like you have just that one person, and it'll be a team race too. And they'll still run you off the road. I never understood that. I'm like, look, dude, it's humans versus AI. They're on like the highest difficulty setting. We need to work together, and you have just this one guy just going all over the place, hitting all of his teammates, and letting the AI by. Third imposter. Then you'll just have people crashing into the whole lobby as well. Yeah, exactly. It happens so much. And like I know in some games, like I saw in F1 2021, they turn collisions off by default. I don't know if you play like a hardcore version if collisions are on, but yeah, for that reason, like you have to do it because you just have those people.
It's tempting to focus entirely on the race, but we should put a bit of time aside to run the qual.
Yeah, I play 120 AI on Xbox. What? Oh man, damn, you're good, dude. You're good. 120 AI, yeah, that's impressive. Like I watched a YouTube video the other day of George Russell running that and then running 150.
Battery efficiently throughout the lap to hit your target time. The overtake button will drain the battery quickly, but it will also give you maximum power.
That's really impressive though. 120 AI. Yeah, I'm a casual by comparison. Like the hardest I've raced was like 55. Okay, 55. And I already started to like make mistakes and things like that. And here you are on 120. That's awesome. I'm surprised they don't have like mini racing leagues. I know Gran Turismo does, but I never could take part in any of them because when they would take place, I always had other commitments. But it was pretty cool. Like you could just go and sign up and take part in these tournaments. And then there's like this really big tournament that Gran Turismo holds. And I watched some of that. I think it was in 2018 they were doing that. But I don't know if they still are. But yeah, I in case you didn't already tell, I love racing games. I have Gran Turismo Sport, Grid 1 and 2, Grid Autosport, Forza 3, 4, Horizon, Forza 5 Horizon.
Okay, test complete, and
Forza Motorsport 7.
We got a lot of valuable information out of that.
You've got some of the classics too. But I haven't played those in a while. Like I've pretty much been playing F1 and watching the season IRL. So we've got Spa tomorrow, which is going to be good because the break just ended. The summer break for Formula One just ended. And some interesting things have already come out of Spa, so it should be interesting to see how the lead teams cope with the changes. But I hope it's a fight. I don't want to see any wipeouts. I don't want to see any crashes. I just want to see good old-fashioned racing. But with the changes to the track, at least what Hamilton described, that might be why so many people were like spinning out. Like Eau Rouge, which was the turn that kept doing everyone in, it's different now. But we won't see that in this game. Yeah, I'm an Xbox One, but it's really inconsistent when there's races on. I know it plays in top 5, so it's good for me. Yeah, dude. Top 5 in a sim racer is excellent. Yeah, if you can place top 5, you're gold. You're gold. You know, like looking at using an IRL analogy again. If you're Ricardo or Norris or Leclerc, and you always find yourself in like the top 5, then yeah, you're happy. You might not get podiums on the regular, but you're right next in line, and that's really good.
Our best lap so far is a 1:14.0.
Because you're scoring points. You're scoring points for the team. You're scoring points for yourself. So, yeah, top 5 is nothing to scoff at. Of course, everyone wants to get top 3, but you know, top 5 you can live with.
Okay, this is a quali sim. We've estimated the times our closest rivals will be doing, so that's what we need to beat.
Alright, it's not on just yet. I just need to get some clean air. I'll find a clean pace to try to pass both us. Alright. Try to pass here. Because he's going flat out as well. I wonder if he'll let me by. Yeah, he did. Alright. Whoa, okay. A little oversteer there. A little oversteer. Luckily I was able to catch it. But yeah, you see people like spin out IRL, like that's how it happens. It happens so quickly. Like these cars go so fast, and it's usually in the turns. It's usually in the turns. Why? Because, you know, the aero isn't as strong. You know, your downforce isn't as strong. And if your tires are cold, well, you don't have the grip. They're not as sticky. You know, like it's all connected. So you can be a Formula One driver and still spin out, still have accidents. That doesn't go away. Especially in cars like these, where you're literally on a razor's edge all the time.
Program complete,
Alright,
and a job well done. We got some excellent data with that run, so come on back to the garage and I can talk you through the numbers.
Alright, switch back to lean. check our tire wear. Alright, that's about normal. So, the degradation of softs is about roughly 10% for every lap. So, 9 times out of 10, your softs will take you no more than 10 laps, which is why a lot of times, if you start on them,
laps of fuel remaining.
You're gonna do 6 to 7 laps on the softs and then switch out. I've seen teams do even shorter stints than that, but yeah, that's usually what you're looking at.
Come in this lap, please. Box this lap.
But if you're not going to get any
with the pit
gains,
assist
no
disabled,
point.
you'll need to be mindful of your speed when entering the pit lane. If you hit the limiter line too fast, you'll pick up a penalty. Watch the on-screen prompts that show your target speed and distance to the limiter line.
Yeah, we don't want that. Alright, bring it down. Yeah, I've raced a few F1 YouTubers as well, like ex-sports drivers and content creators, which is fun. Got in the top 10 for a few tracks on time with Charles from Xbox as well. Oh, that's awesome. Nice, nice. Yeah, those F1 YouTubers are good. Those guys are good. So if you can hang with them, you're the real deal. Yeah, yeah. And I remember when F1 was shut down, there was a lot of virtual racing. So you had Leclerc, you had Russell, you had some of the F1 YouTubers, and they were all racing each other. It was great. It was great. Because I always felt like racing was kind of niche in like the whole video game canon, but it's a massive community on Twitch, and that's awesome. As I am a gearhead myself. Alright, so we nailed all of the sims, all of them, and we got a minute and 15 to practice
in the speed trap, 208.3 miles per hour.
So I need to check on my teammate, who is George Russell, by the way. I signed him at the beginning of this season. So yeah, he's at 10, which is about what we expected. We're still developing him. So last race, he actually beat me in qualifying. So he actually started pole, and I started second. And he had the lead, and he pitted, and then I was able to take the lead and keep the lead because I was able to put enough of a gap between myself and all the other drivers on the grid. I had to change my strategy on the fly. I wanted some softs so I can just get a good burn. And yeah, that strat worked. And then we went to mediums instead of hards because I only had 10 laps left. So there was no point in taking the hit in performance department. But yeah, because I'm doing 50% races. So they're about half as long as they normally are. Just so the campaign doesn't take forever. Because watching an IRL full-length race is more entertaining than
the Professor, Bottas, and
a
Sebastian
random,
Vettel.
you know,
And that's it. Practice is
F1
officially over.
2020
Until next time,
race.
goodbye.
All right. So looking at this out of practice one, did anyone wreck? No one wrecked. Okay, good. So Tatiana Calderon, she was my first teammate. I signed her on first when I first started Golf Squad Racing. And she never underperformed. She just didn't develop as fast as I wanted her to because, you know, after winning the Drivers' Championship, you want the Constructors, right? You want the Constructors. And so I felt Russell was a better bet to get the Constructors' Championship. If we look at our standings, that was a good bet because we're only 12 points behind Mercedes. Yeah, Red Bull had a little bit of trouble. There was like a DNF. Verstappen's car just gave out mid-race, so he can't even finish. Which was good news for us because now there's enough of a gap where we only really need to worry about Mercedes. Unless my car breaks down or some crap like that, but I invested everything in durability first. And like that was the first thing I invested in. because nothing sucks more than you having a good rhythm and then your engineer gets on the line and says, "Hey, box, your car's dead." uh, or worse, you have to pull over to the side of the road and cut the engine because it's about to explode. So yeah, we didn't want that. So it was just a matter of mitigating those weaknesses, making sure the parts are quality. So at this point, I don't really need to drive anymore. What I'm going to do is put in one lap to just get some points on the board towards tech. But I don't need to put strain on my parts. Like, that's the thing. If this was real life, you know, yeah, I'd stay out there. Um, but in this game, it's not necessary. And then my parts will last even longer, which is what I want. Because they're pretty expensive. And nothing's worse than having to take a 10 place grid penalty because you have to swap out the power unit or something like that. But I do like driving in the rain. It's very nice. Like, some of my best races have been in the rain as well. But you just have to, like, not be stupid. Like, your braking points are further out, so it's never a good idea to try to, you know, ride someone's ass into a turn, because they're not going to be able to brake as sharply as they normally are, nor are you able to. And if you've ever, you know, tried to make a turn in the rain IRL, you know what I'm talking about. You know, your regular road tires aren't as effective in the rain. You can feel the slip. And like, I drive a front wheel drive IRL, so like, you really feel it. You really feel it. Which is good, because you can kind of head off understeer before it happens and avoid accidents. Problem is, if you're driving a front wheel drive in a racing situation, your center of power is also your point of contact for maneuvering the car or turning. So your tires are getting worn out twice as quickly, which is why front wheel drives are notorious for understeer, because of that relationship. But they're also cheaper to manufacture, so that's why people still run them. Now, these bad boys are rear wheel drive, from what I understand, and that spreads out the tire wear. So, as you can see here on the map, the tires are pretty much wearing at about the same rate. If this was a front wheel drive, then the front tires would be a little more worn out already. You know, rear tires, you don't really have to worry about too much. That's what I get for trying to read chat while driving at the same time. Yeah, we ran an Xbox Custom League race, Monaco in the rain. That was hell. Oh my god. Oh my god. Monaco in the rain? Mad lads. Mad lads. I would never. Monaco in the dry is bad enough. And you're talking about in the rain? Like, how many wrecks did you have? Like, because you already can't pass. You already can't pass on Monaco. And then on top of that, you have the rain. I just don't see it. I don't see how anyone walked away from that feeling good about themselves. Oh man, that would have been a spectacle to see. TM Turk, if you know him, he's a YouTuber, and I played a lot with him. I don't recognize the name, but I'm sure I've seen him before. Like, if he participated in that Twitch tournament, then yeah, I'm sure I've seen him. because they had a lot of racing YouTubers in that tournament. So I'm sure he was a part of it. Linton, what's up, my man? How are you doing? Good to see you. We only had 6 people left at the end of it. Finished second and started last. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Oh, man. 6 people left. 6 people. 22 men walked in. 6 people walked out. Monaco. Yeah, it'll chew you up and spit you out. Like, it's a brutal track. And I'm actually concerned. And Lewis had a point. Like a lot of his haters were saying, "Oh, you know, Lewis was just mad. He was just complaining. That's why it wasn't." No, he's right. The 2022 car is going to be even wider than the 2021 car, and Monaco, you already can't pass on it with the 2020 car. Now you're gonna have the 2021 car. It's gonna be madness. It's gonna be madness. Like literally, qualifying is going to be your only opportunity to get a good pace or a good place, and then undercutting people with pits. Like that's it, because you're not passing anyone. There's no way, no shot. Yeah, he been in Twitch tournaments. Okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure I've seen him then. All right, we're gonna advance to practice 3 because again, I just wanted to put up a lap. It's also raining anyway, and so it isn't safe. Though I personally like driving in the rain. I don't want to like spin out.
It's time to remind ourselves of our top 3, who are the Professor, Russell, and Max Verstappen. Sadly, it's time to say goodbye as free practice is over. However, we'll be back shortly for more Formula One action.
That's what I'm talking about. George Russell, let's go. Let's go. All right, second place. And that's the thing about this guy. He just keeps getting better and better, just like in real life. Just like in real life. So I definitely want to see him at Mercedes, you know. But I'm also partial to Bottas as well. Like I said, I think Bottas is great for Lewis as a teammate. They work really well together. There isn't any drama or any BS, you know. They're both professionals, but Russell does deserve his shot as well. Like he proved that last year when he subbed for Lewis because Lewis had COVID. So they brought Russell in to drive as a substitute. And if it wasn't for that pit stop that went wrong, like I don't know what the hell Mercedes was doing, but he would have won that race. Like he was on fire. I've never seen George Russell race like that. That was so impressive. We are in the mud for Monaco. Yeah, yeah, we are. We are. Monaco's gonna be brutal. And I'm scared. I'm scared. I don't know what the FIA is going to do. I know that they've experimented with like sprint racing. We saw that at Silverstone this year. So turning practice 3 into a sprint. Well, no, not practice 3. Qualifying into a sprint. So it's like a mini race that's like 25% the length of a full race, and then whatever you place in that is what you're going to start as the next day on Sunday.
A bit like a rubber out on track.
But
Take it easy for a couple
even
of
still, like even with a sprint, you're going to have the same situation. Like you have all the cars are on the grid. You're in Monaco. There's nowhere to pass. You can't make Monaco wider. Okay, you can't take Monaco off of the schedule because Monaco is an iconic track. So it's like, what are you gonna do? Well, there are solutions. There are solutions. Like for example, you could do a rally style time trial instead. So have staggered starts between the racers, and then just let everyone out onto the track about a minute apart, and you can do it that way. So everyone kind of has their own air. So it may look like practice, but it's a race. It's a race, and it's a time trial based race, and I think we pretty much know who the top drivers would be in that particular situation. but it would cut down on accidents. It would cut down on a lot of the congestion that you see. But I don't know what the other fans would think about that, like the greater F1 community, because some people like the human centipede. I'm not a fan of it. I like to see passing. I like to see, you know, real battles. And Monaco, it is pretty boring. Like just watching Monaco this year, like it was, you know, it was all right. Most entertainment I had out of Monaco was watching YouTube videos of F1 drivers talking about their time in Monaco, and Charles Leclerc, he actually lives there, and so he did like a little thing with Ferrari and with another media outlet, and he was just driving around in his Ferrari talking about Monaco, the school he, you know, went to, where he grew up. That was more entertaining, far more entertaining than the race itself, which unfortunately Charles couldn't even compete because of car issues. I think he had an issue with his power unit, so he couldn't even race, you know, in Monaco, which is sad. Really sad. This kind of thing happens. Yeah, we play 100% races on F1. Of course, yeah, you have to. Like online, you're going for the simulated experience. You have to do 100% lane. But yeah, like as far as the sprints are concerned, it's been kind of mixed. I personally will admit it did its job, right? Because the FIA wanted more eyes on the pre-race portion of the courses, and I did watch the sprint, so they got me. Like, you know, I personally felt that the sprint was unnecessary. I think giving teams more time
Okay,
to
just want to
practice
remind you to
setups.
keep an eye on your tyre temperatures, which you can do on the temperature panel of the MFD. We monitor carcass temperature and surface temperature, and you'll get the best performance when they're both inside a normal operating window. Surface temps tend to fluctuate faster, so try a few laps with the data open and get a feel for how to control them.
Yeah, I just paused for the engineer there. So what he's referring to is this map right here. And this tells me in real time what my temps are. Blue is bad, red is bad, green is good. That's pretty much all you need to know. Your brakes can definitely heat up as long as they cool back down. And as long as your vehicle's in motion, they will cool down. Like, you don't have to worry about brakes as much. It's rare for brakes to become an issue. There's been times where you've seen IRL brake calipers catch fire because they do get hot, and so if a car is sitting, especially during a pit stop, if a car is sitting, that can sometimes happen if you have a combustible fluid that goes down into the brake calipers. So you want to be fast, you want to keep the car moving, and you won't have any issues with brakes. Tires are a different story entirely. No pun intended. But tires overheating really isn't a thing that you need to worry about. It's tires underheating that's the big concern. So drivers want to get as much heat as they can into the tires. Once the tires get hot, you're at optimal grip. You're going to get the best lap times. You're also going to have more stability in the car as well. Less instances of oversteer, understeer, all of the things that can result in a crash that goes down as the tires warm up. If the tires get too hot, they'll just degrade faster. So there really isn't a detriment to the driving experience. But if you are in the last stint of a race, you probably don't want to get your tires too hot because you want them to last, so you can, you know, finish the race. You don't want to have to come in for another pit stop. So that's the strategy with that. Velocity Esports Boot Camp for F1 is next month, and I could be going hopefully. Oh man, yeah, like if you get in, let me know. Let me know. I will add you to my list of streamers. So that'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool. And we could see through the eyes of McMain FN what the boot camp is like and what the tech is. Because it's a strategy, you know, it's a lot like fighting games. You know, fighting games. Um, on the casual level, it's
If you
all
want to know
about
specific information or make
you
certain
know
changes to the car during a pit stop,
doing
you can tell me what you want
flashy,
over the radio.
cool shit.
Press and hold the radio button
But
to activate the
on a
system.
professional
You can either
level,
speak the
it's
command
frame data.
or select it manually from the radio screen.
It's
that
all
will
frame
appear on
data
the multifunction display.
and combo
While the radio is
knowledge,
active,
spacing.
cycle through command groups
And
with
so
the
with
MFD
racing,
button.
it's a similar kind of concept. You know, on the casual level, it's go fast and don't
West
crash.
6 in the speed trap,
But
203.6 miles per hour.
like, there's car setups. There's you know, there's power unit management, item management, gearbox management. Honestly, I haven't had to fool too much around with my setup. Usually, if I feel that I'm getting too much oversteer, I increase downforce. If I'm getting too much understeer, then I kind of let up on downforce a bit. That's my reasoning
Right,
when
here's
it comes
something
with
to remember
aero
about this
package.
circuit. There's a lot of steep camber and elevation changes here, so be careful, especially on cold tires. Turn 12 is...
Alright, so like the engineer was saying, you know, the angle of the turns on this track is pretty significant. So if we look at the course as is right now, we have our straight right there. I don't have like a mouse. My mouse icon isn't going to show up, but basically, coming out of turn one, which is that bottom hairpin turn right there, that's not the most dangerous part. Turn three can get risky because the distance between turn two and turn three
At the end of this
on
session, we
cold
need to
tires can be
return 2
nasty.
sets of tires. We'll give back the 2 most worn sets, so we may as well get the most out of them while we can. They won't be available for the rest of the weekend, though, so don't run too hard on anything you might need later on.
All right, redeeming hydrate. Had to take some water. You know, you gotta stay hydrated. Nothing is worse. Nothing is worse than dehydrating. As we saw from Lewis in Hungary. You know, dealing with the effects of long COVID and you know, dehydration on top of that. It really takes a lot out of you.
Now over the line, let's see our top 3 again. Bottas, Albon, and Lewis Hamilton. What an incredible practice session. The fun doesn't stop here, though. Join us again as the rest of the weekend unfolds.
All right. So, and the nice thing too is like the AI gets progressively faster. So, 114 is like still the time to beat. I did like a 114.2 my first practice run. So we're going to go into qualifying now. Now it gets serious. Do you play wheel or controller? I play controller. But I would love to get a racing rig. I actually been doing some research on that. Of course, I need to like make more money before I can justify that purchase. But yeah, I was looking at a full racing rig. Probably the total price tag would be around $4,000. But I want one. I think it'd be awesome. Especially when playing full race, there's no safety car, so you can't go in pause menu and get a drink. If you take your hand off the wheel for a second, you're down bad. Exactly. And that's the neat thing about the sim racing, especially online with other players, because there is no pause screen. You know, I can pause at any time, get a sip of water, run to the bathroom, stretch. But if you're online and you're in that sim experience, you can't. So just like a real Formula One driver, you're stuck. So if you don't if you don't have like a urination bag attached to you IRL, or you're not wearing a diaper, you gotta hold that. You gotta hold that, you know, because even the pit stops are fast. There isn't a time where you can get up and pee during a race. Like there's no time. You have to hold it. So like you said, you take your hand off the controller for a second, you're down bad because some dude's gonna pass you. Like especially when you're going against people who know what they're doing. You're off the line, you lose so much time, and you have to try to make that back up. Not always can. There's Russell getting in the zone. All right. So let's take a look here. It's going to be sunny throughout qualifying, so it shouldn't be an issue. All right, rolling on the softs. Ricardo's heading out. All right, so let's do a flying lap. Parc Ferme regulations. Yeah, I'm actually satisfied. I'm satisfied with the setup. Yeah, unless you have a drive-through in Silverstone or something like. Yeah, exactly. True, true, true. Like some tracks have that. That kind of allows you to get back in, and you know, some tracks, like I know Shanghai had a really long, or has a really long straight, so you might be able to sneak in a sip of water. You might be able to. It depends on the course for sure. Vandervoort comes at you fast though, so like this course I wouldn't recommend it. This one is one of those you're gonna have to hold it kind of situations, because this track comes at you fast. Like the amount of micro adjustments I have to make even on the straights is substantial. You can't really get away with not paying attention. You know, just to prove it, I mean, every time I look away to read chat, I'm off the track. Like, you have to pay attention on this course. It's very technical. You have a lot of inclines and declines, and yeah. And the roads are pretty narrow too. Like, there's a lot of dirt. You know, some tracks will let you go pretty wide, but this one isn't one of them. Alright, I'm gonna try and overtake soon. Got DRS. Alright, yeah, he's let me by. He's let me by. Good. Alright, so with this practice session, it's basically 3 rounds. 3-round elimination. So, if I remember correctly, the bottom 5 in each section gets washed out.
There's only 1 lap of fuel remaining.
Until you get down to the top 10. Now, me being down to 1 lap of fuel is bad because I actually wanted to set my time now, but I've got to refuel. You can't refuel during the race though, but you can refuel during practice. And Russell has set fastest lap. That was my mistake though. I should have, while I was behind Kvyat, I should have cut my fuel setting down. It's like I'm looking pretty good. Like I can set a competitive lap right now, but I don't want to stall in the middle of the session either. One of the Baku straights maybe. Yeah. Baku has a really long straight, and it's flat. So you can pretty much find a line and keep one hand on the steering wheel, get a sip of water, something like that. But yeah, Baku you can do it with because it has an insanely long straight. And I don't know how Miami's going to play out. I know they're going to be adding Miami to the calendar in 2022. Saudi Arabia also is going to be added to the calendar as well. I don't know if they're removing any courses from the existing calendar, so they just get longer.
1 minute 14.7.
Alright, so we're refueling now, and then we're just going to do another flying lap. Russell is doing everything that I could ask for. So, that's awesome. Good for him. The Constructors' Championship to me is more important than the Driver Championship because I already have that under my belt. I want the Constructors. And this could be our year. This could be our year. We're pretty much behind Mercedes on all of our tech research. So we're ahead of every other team. So if we keep the pressure on Mercedes, then we should be good to go. Alright, Vettel's pitting so I can go flat out. And we're on. So let's put up a really competitive lap time. And then that way, I mean, honestly, I will avoid the first round of eliminations. But if I don't do better than 12th place, then I'll get washed out in a second. Okay, I had a little bit of oversteer on that turn. And a nice thing, like with what Codemasters has done with this game is, even with a controller, like I'm playing with a controller right now, even with a controller, you can feel the car starting to misbehave. Like you just know when you're starting to oversteer. Before you even see it on screen, you can feel it. And you can make those split-second adjustments to stop yourself from spinning out. And it's the same thing with understeering as well, like you can feel it. Because when you go into a turn and your controller vibrates, that's slip. That's your tires slipping. So if you're trying to manage... Nice, fastest lap, let's go. Okay. But if you're trying to maintain your tires and your controller is vibrating, then you are going too hard on your tires. You're not supposed to feel your controller vibrate when you go into a turn, unless you are trying to go fast. You maintain your tires, you don't want to feel any vibration. If you feel some vibration, that's normal. Some vibration is normal, because that means that you're engaging the tires, you're on the edge. But there's a certain vibration pattern that you will feel as the car begins to overslip, and that's when you start looking at your understeer, oversteer situations, in which case, if you don't catch it, you'll spin out. Or crash. But understeer is a lot more manageable in this car, and that's because of the aero package. With the downforce and everything, you can mitigate it relatively easily. Oversteer, however, is an ever-present threat. Again, the aero package aids with oversteer as well. If you're in a situation where your car is doing oversteer a little bit too much, you want to add downforce. Of course, I can't do that now, which is why you run the simulators, because the simulators are going to bring that out and show you if your car is kind of unbalanced. But my car's pretty balanced. I didn't make any changes to the aero. The engineers already did a good job. I didn't have to tweak it any further. But in general, if you notice that your car is doing a little bit too much oversteer, then you want to add downforce. If your car is doing a little too much understeer, then you want to lighten up a bit and apply a little less downforce. Because understeer and oversteer are like the two main phenomena you're going to experience when you're driving. Alright, let's go ahead, accelerate time. I heard they could be removing Bahrain or China. Really? Oh, wow. Bahrain is kind of a it's an iconic track. You know, I mean, if anything, they may remove China. China is a really technical course. I think it's a good course, but it may also be due to some, other politics related things that they may consider removing China from the circuit, um, or the calendar. I mean, but Bahrain, I'd be sad to see it go. Bahrain is a lot of really interesting things have happened in Bahrain. F1 fans know what I'm talking about. So yeah, I would be sad to see it go. Um, the Japanese canceling the Suzuka circuit this year was also pretty sad too, because Honda is pulling out of Formula One at the end of this year. So it's going to be interesting to see how Red Bull does with that, because Honda has been Red Bull's power unit supplier. It's been their partner. Um, so I don't know where they're going to go. I don't know if they're going to seek out an entirely new engine manufacturer, or if they're going to, sign a contract with one of their rivals. I doubt they would ever put a Mercedes power unit, just because the bad blood between the teams, the rivalry. So I don't think they would ever do that, because it's kind of like conceding to Mercedes, right? So I don't think Horner would do that. But would they put a Ferrari power unit in their car? I don't think they would. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they deal with that come 2022. Who they sign on with. And there's a lot of candidates out there. It could be a possible McLaren partnership, but again, why would they want to put a McLaren power unit in their car? They're already beating McLaren with the Honda, so a lot of sad news coming out of Japan. Between that and the Suzuka circuit being canceled because of COVID. That's why they did it, COVID-19 mitigation. But like for me, you had the Olympics, okay, and that was just fine. There wasn't like an explosion of COVID-19 cases that came out of the Olympics. Like, why cancel the Suzuka circuit, especially when this is Honda's last year
Fantastic.
in
That was
Formula
the
1.
fastest lap.
I don't know why the Japanese government would do that. As a racing fan, I am disappointed. But, they have to put, people's safety first. And if they feel that having Suzuka this year would have been dangerous, then, yeah, cancel it. I'm sad, but, cancel it. Maybe, if anything, that'll give us one more year of Honda. If we have assurances that next year's circuit won't be canceled. But yeah, it'll be really sad to see them go. See these nuts. Thank you for the follow. Yeah, it'd be really sad. It'll be really sad to see. Alright, we can go ahead and box. I think we're good for this round as well. Yeah, I don't think Bahrain will go there either. There's too much history. Yeah. It's just too much history. Like, Bahrain has a special place in the hearts of a lot of fans. Yeah, I would be really upset if they cut Bahrain from the calendar. Favorite F1 team? So I'm pretty much Team Mercedes. Like, I root for Mercedes. I really like the way that they've handled just the FIA regulations. If you think back to before Mercedes came onto the scene, Red Bull was running it. They won 4 back-to-back championships with the Honda Power Unit. Mercedes comes in and immediately they just steal the thunder from Red Bull, and it's been back to back to back to back to victories. Um, so
This
yeah,
lap so far is a
um,
1:12.5.
I'm a huge Lewis Hamilton fan. Love Lewis. Toto Wolff is awesome. I call him Chad Wolf. He's great. But there's other F1 teams that I really really like. So okay, so yeah, you say McLaren's your favorite. McLaren's my second favorite. Um, I think they are an amazing team. They have incredible resilience. They brought Lewis into Formula One. Okay, Lewis started with McLaren, um, and they make amazing cars. The McLaren exotic cars are just awesome. I would love to own a McLaren myself one day. It used to be Racing Point, yeah. True. Racing Point fell off, man. They fell off. And then their biggest owner, their biggest investor, being under investigation for tax fraud in India. It was just this big drama. Um, it's nice to see them though transition over to Aston Martin, because Aston Martin hadn't been in F1 for decades. So to see them come back with Vettel signed on, keeping Lance Stroll on there, I think was a pretty good move for them. But yeah, Lando Norris, huge fan of his. Daniel Ricciardo, huge fan of his. And Zach Brown is awesome. Like if there was any team that I would actually drive for, like if I were an F1 driver and I could pick my team to drive for, it'd be McLaren. I think McLaren has the best culture. I think they have the best culture. Great drivers. Again, Zach Brown is awesome, and he's a really friendly guy, great guy. So yeah, I feel like I would enjoy coming to work every day if I drove for McLaren. Um, but yeah, and Ferrari, I've got all the love in the world for Ferrari. They've had a rough couple of years, ever since the whole um, fuel scandal came out. The FIA investigated them for that, and I think it was Red Bull that started that investigation. So Horner's good. Horner's good. He's good with you know, catching other teams, and I know that annoys a lot of people. Annoys a lot of fans, um, because he does a lot of shouting and yelling. But I mean, it led to an investigation which revealed that Ferrari was, in fact, cheating the fuel monitoring system. So they had to make those changes, which hurt their 2019 car. And they've bounced back from that. They're competitive this season. They have two great drivers. I'm a big Charles Leclerc fan. So with him and Carlos Sainz, which they brought over from McLaren, because Sainz used to drive for McLaren, and then he came over to Ferrari.
Okay, remember that the way the car
So yeah,
handles is all about weight transfer. When
my
you brake, the center of mass moves forward.
top
When
three
you
favorite
accelerate, it
teams
moves
is Mercedes,
rearward. And when you
McLaren,
turn, it is
and
pushed to the outside of the car. More load on each tire
Ferrari,
equals
in that
more
order.
grip. So make sure you're smooth with the
You got a
controls
YouTube
to
channel?
prevent weight
Yes,
transfer
yes,
from
yes, I
becoming
do.
too violent.
Let me see if the link still works. Yeah, there it is. So there's my YouTube. You can check that out. I upload all of my streams there. And then I do assorted streams as well. My assorted streams are like my non-themed streams. Since I am playing more F1, I'm probably going to just make an F1 specific channel. But yeah, like you'll see some of the other racing games I play under assorted streams, and then my themed playlists like Star Citizen, Mass Effect, Persona. They have their own playlists, but I've taken a break from Mass Effect and I've been playing just a lot of random games. So like this stream will probably go under assorted streams, depending on how long it goes. Um, because usually I'll play like a little F1 and then I'll switch over to another game. I'll probably be playing Humankind, if not today, tomorrow. So it depends. If I finish the stream only playing F1, then I will put it, in its own playlist. Yeah, search up F1 Dirty Drivers compilation. They are so funny. True. I need to do that. I need to do that actually. I'm gonna do that after stream because there was a lot of buzzing about facts. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like that's literally like what it is. I get it. I get it why
Our best lap so far is at
people
1 minute
are,
12.
annoyed with the way that some teams handle um their business, and like I get it, but if it leads to actual wrongdoing and violation of the rules, then it is what it is. Like, the rules are there for a reason. Um, like what happened with Vettel, right? Vettel got DC'd after Hungary because FIA couldn't get 1 liter of fuel out of the car. That's the reg. Like, you're supposed to be able to get a liter of fuel out of the car. And they couldn't get a liter, and they DC'd Vettel, and I'm a Vettel fan. I love Seb. I think Seb's great, and um, I was gutted when I heard that he got DC'd for that, and so Aston Martin appealed. They tried to get the fuel, couldn't get the fuel, and so it's like, well, we have to DC you. So Hamilton, who finished third, now got second, and Sainz, who finished fourth, got third. So, yeah, good news for them, bad news for Seb. But these regulations exist for a reason because of what Ferrari did, right? So like FIA is even more of a stickler on fuel because of what Ferrari did. And again, Ferrari would have kept getting away with it too if it wasn't for Horner making a fuss about it and saying, these lap times that Ferrari's putting out is just unusually quick, and that's like what my argument was for in favor of Aston Martin. It wasn't like Vettel's vehicle was doing any unusual shit. Like, it wasn't like he was just doing phenomenally quick lap times or unusually quick lap times. Um, he was where he was due to the incident that happened in the first lap of the race. Um, that was caused by Bottas largely, but Stroll also bore some responsibility as well. The other Aston Martin driver, because his brakes locked up too, and he slid into Lando. Um, so yeah, like it wasn't like this was a normal race and Vettel was just in um, second place. That's not what happened. It was an incident that led to him being where he was, and the car didn't perform unusually quick or anything like that. So, it's kind of like FIA, cut him a break, cut him a break. Um, this is like only his second podium finish in the entire season, and they took it from him, and it hurt. As a fan of his, it hurt. It sucks. So we got an email here from Jeff, which is our lead engineer here, and these are nice. What wheel do you use? Oh, I don't use a wheel, unfortunately. I use a controller, just a PDP Xbox One controller, because it's fully compatible with Windows. But I want a whole driving setup. Like, I saw one Twitch streamer, and she actually had one, and it looked great. It looked great, and those are really expensive, but money well spent, because once you build them, you can use them for pretty much any racing game you want. So, F1, Forza, doesn't matter. It's compatible with just about everything. Gran Turismo even, right? Because the rig will plug into a PlayStation just fine. I would love Gran Turismo to come on PC, but I know that's never gonna happen. So. Sandivore is an arrow full of elevation changes and has some extremely steep camber, particularly around the final corner. It's important not to overreact when the car goes light over the crest, or you could lose control when the grip comes back, which I've noticed doing the practice runs. Like, there is a point at the track in which the car is really, really prone to slip. and sometimes it's understeer, sometimes it's oversteer, but it's slip. And luckily in that portion of the track, I just hit my brakes to kind of get the grip back, but I know what he's talking about. Look out for turn 11 as well. It's quite blind and very tight. Miss your braking point, and that's where you'll lose a lot of time in the runoff. When you need to get a pass done, follow as close as you can through the final turn and make good use of your overtake button. Good luck and have fun out there. A lot of the courses in Formula One are built that way, in which you have at least one overtake point, and that's at the end of a course as you're going around to the starting line. Now, Monaco is different. Monaco, your only point of overtake is at the beginning, after the starting line. So going into turn one, as you go up that incline, there's a point in which the road kind of splits and then comes back together. You could use that to overtake. And then there's another overtake point too, as you come out of the tunnel. I don't remember which turn it is, but you're in the tunnel, you go flat out, and then you go down an incline, and again, the road kind of splits a bit. You can overtake there as well. But in both situations, the chance that you get in an accident is really, really high. Which is why Lewis was saying, like, you can't really overtake on Monaco, and you can't. You really can't. Because even if you were to try to overtake at one of those 2 points, the margin of error is so thin, you can easily end up in the wall, taking someone else out. Like, a lot can go wrong doing that. So, there's our messages, and let's go ahead and start the race. I won't worry about the tech right now. I'll do that when we get back to the office. What do you think of the new cars? So, my personal opinion, I think the new cars are going to be pretty sweet. Like how they redesigned the tires, the wheels themselves is going to allow for a lot more aero. So we expect the cars to be faster. They are also wider, so that could be a problem potentially. But I think they're pretty good.
It's a race the great Jim Clark won on 4 occasions, leading for an astonishing total of 370 laps. Zandvoort circuit, 14 corners, 10 to the right and 4 to the left, with plenty of steep camber and elevation changes to keep our drivers on their toes throughout a 2.6-mile lap. Also here, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about the Professor. That was a great win in the last race. Can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
It's always nice to come into a Grand Prix weekend on a high, but your expectations are based much more on your practice and qualifying runs. So it's the momentum from those sessions that they'll be hoping to carry into the race today.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race.
Did you see qualifying today? I did not. I did not. I was planning on looking at qualifying after stream, actually, because practice has been really interesting. Like there were some incidents that I didn't expect would happen. Yeah, I just did not expect it to happen. But I will say, also too, and I was talking about this with McMahon FN earlier, the additional wideness of the cars is going to be a problem in Monaco for sure. For sure.
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at our race strategy. So, it was crazy good. Oh, really? Oh, man. Now I'm even more excited to watch it. Like, I'm literally, as soon as I finish stream today, I'm going to get some lunch, and I'm watching that qualifying. I'm watching that qualifying. Because I did see some things pop up on my phone that was related to it, and I'm like, oh, man, some good stuff happened. But it's good. It's good. It's like, most drivers have a really high opinion of Spa. Personally, it's one of my favorite courses. Even before I started following like professional racing, just playing like Forza 4, Grid, like Spa was always my favorite track because you have That point at the course in which you're going up that incline that's flat out, and then once you're on level ground, you're still going flat out into the next turn. It's just this long, beautiful straight. A lot of scenery, and it's quick, and the course is really high speed friendly. So I love it. I love it. Just don't go hard into turn one, and you'll be fine. Just stay calm and composed, man. Yeah, exactly, exactly. Stick hard to a line and stay on it. Yep, that's really the best advice for Spa. If you try to get a little too creative, you'll end up off the track. But and again, you Rouge, that turn got so many drivers in second practice two, and there was even a full on crash, even a full on crash. I think it was Leclerc actually. Understeer caught him, and he went into the wall, and it was really unfortunate to see. Really unfortunate to see. And Formula 2 driver Antoine Herbert, I believe his name was, he was killed in an accident on Spa. Um, and he was a personal friend of Pierre Gasly, and that was really sad. That happened last year in Formula 2. So Spa it's a great track, but you've got to be careful and you've got to respect it because you are going really, really fast. So you have to stick hard to the line, stay on it. Don't try to get creative because bad things can happen if you do, because the course comes at you quick and it's not a place that you want to lose grip. So if we're looking at strategy here, place 10th after qualifying. So basically, my lap was good, but the competition beat that lap. So that's the downside to advancing because you don't know if your lap time was super competitive or not. So this is going to be a fight. This is going to be a fight. But hey, that's good. So we're going to have to adapt our strategy. So this is the endurance strategy. I'm not a fan of this. I like going fast. So we're gonna have 3 stops. Um, let's see if I like how we've got these mapped out between laps 25. So 11 laps on the hards. I'm gonna modify the strategy. So stint one, bring me in at lap 8. Stint 2 is going to be from 8 to 25, which, yeah, the 17 laps, yeah, I wouldn't change that, actually. And then stint 3, that's going to be tricky. That's going to be tricky because I'm concerned about loss of grip because I don't know what the race is going to look like towards the end. Like, I feel like I can definitely take the lead in the second stint. I'll probably lose some time on the first, but it's gonna be tricky. It's gonna be a tricky judgment call. This is Hungary for Mercedes all over again, right? Like they made a gamble and it kind of paid off, but didn't really at the same time. Because Lewis was the only one that was starting while everyone else was switching out their tires. It's one of those kinds of situations. Like, do I change the compound? Like, if I switch to mediums, of course I wouldn't be worried at all. But at the same time, I may need those softs. So yeah, sounds just like esports driver. I like going fast. Yep, exactly. Yep, that's me. Speed is good. It's like Talladega Nights all over again. All right, so I'm gonna modify that a little bit. So I'm going to lap 10. We're gonna go to lap 9, and we're gonna keep the medium strat as is. I like this strat. Thank you. Yeah, I'm confident. I think this is going to be what we need. I can't speak for what Russell is going to do, like what he and his engineer decided to do, but this is what I'm going to do. So let's start the race. Maintain that.
Alright, let's get the car up to temperature on this lap. We're learning the gears, so go through them all if you can.
stay behind Stroll. And, you know, formation laps are super important. Not really for, you know, video game purposes, because you can literally just skip to the main race. I've added the formation lap just to add to the sim experience. But IRL, you want the formation lap because it gives you an opportunity to heat up your tires.
For the time being.
Heat up your tires and, you know, warm the car up largely. It's really the tires. Like, the engine will warm up naturally. The brakes will warm up naturally. It's really the tires. That's why you do it. And warm tires is literally the difference between winning a race and ending up in a pile of your own car because you spun out. And again, with our strategy, it's not set in stone. Like, if we're doing really great on the second stint, then I may change the strat and switch to mediums. Because again, it's that loss of grip that I'm really concerned about towards the end. Because I'm going to go hard. I'm going to just go insane on these tires in the third stint. So I'm thinking about just how grip's going to be
The rest of
affected.
the grid is forming up. Be patient and watch for the lights.
Alright, so this is our worst start of the season, and I'm just gonna try to be as patient as possible. Try not to overdo it. Because turn 1 accidents are super common. Alright, a little understeer. Try not to... Yeah, make contact there. Okay, good. Oh! I got bumped. I felt it. I hope that wasn't a tire puncture, though. My engineers aren't saying anything, so it should be fine. I was going to go for that outside pass, but no. Road was too narrow. So I would have literally
Keep
been
pushing. Let's capitalize on that first lap.
in the dirt. Try to go inside here. Get a little more aggressive. Okay. Risky. That was risky. Really risky. But I have flashbacks, so I can be a little more dumb. Alright, pass on the outside. Good, good. Alright, nice pass. Albon's moving. He like, yeah, he second guessed himself. He's like, why am I letting this guy by? I was surprised too. I'm like, all right, hey, if you're gonna back off, then great. More for me. But you do want to find a clean place to pass.
Use your overtake button more. It's time to utilize some of this energy.
Yeah, that's the truth. We do want to do that. Alright, I should be able to get around him. Alright, we're behind Charles. Nah, I'm not gonna pass there. I thought about it. It was tempting, but yeah. I got a lot of juice in this bad boy, so passing from the outside is usually safer than the inside.
DRS is being enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you are within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
Alright, we're on Hamilton now. Bottas is ahead of him. Little understeer, little understeer. But it still didn't, you know, like I didn't go off the track or anything. But I did lose time. And that's like the thing that I hate. So we're on lap 4 now. I need to get ahead of these guys because they're on mediums. They're not going to pit. I mean, I have to pit. So I can't afford to stay behind Hamilton. Hamilton will get by me, but I will be on fresher mediums than him. So that's the strat we're running with. All right, so he's kind of pushing me to the outside a little bit. Going for a soft block. You can block more aggressively, as we saw with Alonso and Hamilton in Hungary. But it's how you do it. Because if it looks unsporting, then the stewards will call you on it. But what Hamilton did there is perfectly normal, forcing me to the outside. Because in some cases, like, that's a good strat because you have to slow down. Because now you're not in your line anymore. You have to back off, you know. So it's a good defensive tactic. But in most of the times, you're allowed one block per turn. As we also saw that with Bottas and Russell.
Plus 1 lap of extra fuel. Fuel target +1.
Fuel target +1. Copy that. All right. But that actually ended differently because Russell tried to go on the outside to pass Bottas, and he made contact with the grass and lost control, shunted into Bottas. Both of them went off the track, and they had a pretty heated exchange afterwards. Late break. But it was enough to pass. Alright, we're gonna go ahead, drop our overtake here. And Verstappen, the man himself, currently leading the race. And we just gotta play it cool. And we are on lap 5. And we're pitting on lap 9, so if I can get around him, he's on softs as well. That's what's going to make this difficult. So Mercedes was going for the long strat, and if you start on mediums, you don't have to pit nearly as quickly. So Hamilton and Bottas will be out ahead of both myself and Max, unless we can put enough of a gap between us and them. But they're on mediums, fresh mediums, so I don't see us, you know, putting up that much of a gap. But we're gonna let this nuclear bomb that I have in the back of my vehicle do its thing. This has got a lot of power. Like, I focused on durability and power unit. Those were the two things that I focused on. Durability primarily, but power unit second. So like my aero and tires are, or chassis I should say, is behind a lot of teams, but we're pretty much towards the top when it comes to reliability, durability, and power unit. Because in my opinion, you can make up for your car's shortfalls with aero and adjustments, right? So if you don't have the best aero package, you don't have the best chassis, you can play with it a little bit and find a setup to complement it. If you don't have the power unit, you're not going to win races. I'm sorry, you're just not going to. You can be the best driver in the world, and if you don't have the reliability and you don't have the power unit, you're not going to win. And we saw that with Hamilton and McLaren. You know, Hamilton coming to Mercedes was the best move that he could have made. You know, and he's racing with his childhood friend Nico Rosberg, and then they stopped being friends because the rivalry was that bitter. But it happens, you know, it happens. Like, Nico wanted the win. He really wanted to win. Lewis really wanted to win. So it's natural. But I see that their relationship is healing at least. You know, Nico got his world championship. He retired. And Lewis is still being Lewis, you know, dominating. Alright, so pit window's going to be opening up soon around lap 7. And we've got a 4-second gap to Bottas, which is not nearly enough. You need, for a comfortable pit, you need at least 20 seconds for a comfortable pit. And even then, you're still going to have to play a little catch-up.
Good. You can use overtake to get past.
Yes, I can use overtake to get past. I just need to, like, find a good turn to overtake him. Alright, Verstappen's forcing me to the outside. Alright, and we're through. Alright, so now it's hammer time. Now it's hammer time. But I made one minor mistake, and that's probably going to cost me a bit. So, what I normally do in these types of races is I will run with a little more fuel than is necessary. The reason why is so I can run fuel mode 3, which is, you know, not max fuel, but high fuel. And it makes a difference. It makes a difference, especially when you're playing catch-up or you're trying to, like, you know, build that gap between yourself and the competition so you can have a pretty comfy pit. So I pull up my fuel map right now. I'm at fuel target plus 1.3
to start falling away soon.
So I don't see myself putting up too much of a gap. We are at about 7 seconds now. A little bit at 7. Still not coffee enough. Not as much as I would want, but
alright. Box this lap. Push hard on the in-lap.
We're gonna go with lean fuel, which is the opposite of what the engineer said. The engineer said push hard.
Is dropping back. We're seeing a gap form.
But the reason why I'm cutting the lean is because when I come out of that pit, I'm gonna need a little extra power. And I don't want to run out of fuel because that's happened before. That happened to me last season in Shanghai. I was running the a Ferrari power unit, new power unit, bit more of a gas guzzler, and ran out of fuel in the last lap of the race, and I dropped from 3rd place to 14th, and it sucked. Never happened again though, because, you know, I learned from that experience and did a better job managing my fuel supply. But you do those little things. It's the little things that add up to a win, and that's how the professionals think. Like, if you look at the way Lewis drives, he doesn't follow the racing line. He doesn't follow the conventional racing line. He'll go off the track, cut back in, you know, he'll just do a little bit of that each time. And the reason why he does that is because he's trying to create the most amount of friction with his tires to keep him hot. So there's little things like that. It's little things like that that you're not gonna learn in F1 school, that you have to just develop.
Stop today. 1 stop left in our strategy.
Alright, before I roll out, I do 2 things. 1, I save in the middle of the session. And 2, I need to get caught up on chat because I know you guys have been talking. Let's see here. I like the strat. You don't have collisions on. What a move. Well, I have collisions on during the main race. The reason why collisions turned off during the formation lap is because I have assisted turned on for pits and formation. The reason why I do that is because I don't feel that the controller offers the degree of control that a steering wheel and pedal would. And so I've tried it in the past, and the thumbstick just isn't as quite as precise. So I will turn on auto for those situations, and when the AI takes over, it will turn collisions off. But yeah, for like the rest of the race, collisions are on. So that's why I've been careful as far as passing's concerned, because, you know, I don't want to hit anyone or have anyone hit me. What a move, yeah. Remember, you got 30 laps, need no rush or moves. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, patience is key. The reason why I try to be aggressive is it's all about positioning for like the mid game, which is where I'm inserting myself right now. When I'm running mid, I will try to be more conservative because you do want to keep your tires healthy for as long as possible, and you're looking for opportunities to undercut the competition. So, yeah, you're absolutely right. Like, there's no need to just go balls to ball in the first lap, especially considering that you're going to lose places when you pit eventually. So you don't need to risk accidents. You don't need to risk running off the track. And we see that IRL. We see that in real life. You know, drivers who are a little too aggressive, a little too eager to get on the point, which is Bottas and a Stroll in Hungary, leads to accidents. You know, and so that's why you do want to be careful. Yeah, I don't know a lot. Kind of new the F1. Yeah, F1 for me, I've started following it full time. Really at the beginning of the season, but I've always been kind of a satellite fan, if you will. But I recommend, like, if you want to learn a lot about the technical stuff, subscribe to Mercedes YouTube page. Mercedes YouTube page is amazing. They go into tech, they go into engineering, they talk about race strategy, they talk about what each individual setting means for the car, how aero works, tires. You will learn so much about the sport just following Mercedes because they have these briefings and they'll talk about what happened during the race, why they made the decisions they made, what were going on with the cars, what were going on with the drivers. And so if you want to learn and not just be a spectator, but actually kind of understand what's going on with the sport, I highly recommend Mercedes F1 YouTube. Like, definitely check that out. I'm about to go into a night ring right now. Xbox Bros wishing me luck. All right, McMahon. Yes, best of luck because you're going in the lion's den, but you're a lion yourself, so I know you'll hold your own. If you're finishing top 5 in most of your races, you're solid, man. You're solid. You got any tips? I'm new at F1 2020 on Xbox. Instead of using default settings for your car when you go into a race, look up on YouTube custom ones to search up the best setup for the specific track. Yes, McMahon is absolutely right. I've been running the default settings myself, but that's why I've struggled when facing off with higher level AI or tougher AI, because the default is good up to a point. You do want to have custom setups that you're running with, and the F1 community, these are some really, really smart guys. They really know motorsports, and they will hook you up. They've got the setups, they've done the testing, they know what they're looking at. So, yeah, definitely follow McMahon's advice. Look up one of those setups, apply it to your car, and learn the setup. Right? Don't assume that because you're running with a high grade setup that you're going to be just shredding lap times. You're going to be just kicking all kinds of ass. Look at what's going on right now with Checo, right? Sergio Perez. He was running with Verstappen's setup and he just couldn't figure it out. He's like, I know it's a good setup because Max is, dominating right now, but I can't drive with it. And that doesn't mean you're a bad driver. It means that Max's setup works for Max. Your setup will work for you. You got to find what works for you. Max likes to drive with a little oversteer. I like to drive with a little oversteer. I like when I'm doing my setups on my cars, I usually will allow for a little more oversteer. I hate understeer. I hate it. So oversteer, I will prefer to understeer pretty much every time. That's how Max runs his car, and you just got to find which one works for you.
Let's use overtake and burn some of this energy.
Alright, so we're going to go back to standard fuel mix, and we're just in it for the long haul. I've pretty much focused on doing as much as I could on those softs. Now that we're on mediums, we're just going to try to take it easy here. When an opportunity to overtake presents itself, I will take it. I'm not going to be too aggressive here. especially considering that Sainz and Vettel are both on softs. So they have to pit, and they're going to have to pit before me. So I don't need to, you know, kill my tires trying to pass them. They have a faster compound. Now, if they're going to allow a gap to form, then I will pass them. But if they're going to stay, you know, tight with the front of the pack, then I can just follow them.
Okay, the gap behind is 1.7 seconds.
Alright, I'm gonna go for it. Alright, that's it. Now we're behind Carlos Sainz. Alright, so we're about a third complete with the race. About a third of the way done. Alright, going for it. And we're through it. Alright, got Hamilton on mediums. He did not pit. I have fresh air on mediums and he does. Oh, that was almost bad. It was almost an accident. So I had to like peel off, but I was at least able to recorrect myself. And Albon's on softs. And Albon, he still drives for Red Bull. He's one of their test drivers. So they did keep him on. He's just not with the main racing roster anymore. He lost that seat to Checo. But, you know...
And you has just fitted the hard tyres. Car behind, running hards.
Okay, car behind is running hards. So I just need to focus on building a gap. So it looks like Verstappen went with the one-stop strategy. I've chosen the two-stop strategy. So what that tells me is I need to build a gap. That's literally all that means. It means to build a gap because Verstappen does not have to pit anymore.
We're leading our teammate by 5.4 seconds.
All right, so we're ahead of Russell by 5 seconds. Yep, there he is. He's in 5th place. So we're looking good. We're looking good. Now, as far as the Constructors' Championship is concerned, we need to beat Mercedes. I need to beat Mercedes. But we need to take care of our tires here as much as we can. think we might be able to overtake. Because I've got fresher tires. Alright. Oh, no. Alright. I gotta hit a flashback. That was too risky. I wanted to try it, though. But no. Like, that situation, you want a steering wheel. Like, what I just tried to do, you don't do on thumbstick. You don't do on thumbstick. Because, like, the margin of error is razor thin. So, basically, what I was going to try to do is pass on the outside. But I had to get my car literally straight going around him.
Good job. Nice overtake.
You just can't do it. You just can't do it on thumbstick. It's not precise enough. Steering wheel would have been able to do it, but thumbstick, no. And the reason why I said that I wanted to try it is because I knew I could pass from the inside, because I've been doing that all race. But, you know, limitations of the controller right there. Like that whole spiel earlier about not getting creative, like that's why.
Right, we need to get past here. Use overtake. Use overtake.
Alright, engineers like, step on it, dude, you can go faster. Which I can. I can definitely go faster. And I need to go faster because Verstappen is about 6 seconds out, and again, he doesn't have to stop, so I need to build enough of a gap. And he will likely pass me anyway, but again, I need to play catch up. So I'm looking good on my fuel target. So I could probably run fuel setting 3 about half a lap, which depending on how far ahead Verstappen gets may or may not work. Now, if Verstappen wins this race, it won't be the end of the world. It won't be the end of the world because as long as I finish ahead of Mercedes, then it's all good. But if I don't, then that'll be a problem for the constructors. Because Red Bull's like 4th. So even if he finishes ahead of me, they still have a ways to go. Because I think AlphaTauri is behind us in the constructors. Alright, yeah, that was risky. I shouldn't have tried to pass there. But I was able to back off early enough to avoid damaging the car. Because racing with a damaged wing is not fun. Like, the understeer is atrocious.
Keep pushing. You're gaining on the car ahead.
Alright, we're through. Alright, I'm gonna switch to lean. Now if he passes, we'll go back to standard, but I think I can keep him off me. If there were Lewis behind me, different story, but Bottas, I think I can keep him off. Running lean. And again, I'm just saving fuel for the last leg of the race because I want to go balls to the wall. And you guys can't see me right now, but I've worked up a sweat literally trying to pass and get in first place. So like there's 2 types of games that I literally get sweaty. Like I know there's the meme, but like I literally get sweaty. Playing fighting games and racing games. Those are the 2.
Okay, you're creating some breathing space between you and the car behind by a few seconds per lap.
Alright, Bottas is pitting, and he's switching to hards. 9 seconds ahead of Verstappen. So we're doing pretty good. We're doing pretty good on that gap. We just got to keep it up. And Russell is right behind Verstappen, so we're looking good. So Russell has just got to double down. You know, keep building that gap on Bottas and Hamilton, and we'll score some good points. for the constructors. And we may also have our first podium, double podium, which would be great because he's only been improving. Russell's only been getting better and better. So I really want to see him on the podium. But it's going to depend on a couple of factors because he's still... he may have to pit, but from what I can tell, he's running on hards. So he went with a one-stop strat as well. That's what he and this engineer agreed on. Excuse me. And I'm the only guy that's doing a two-stop. So what that tells me is I've got to go fast. I gotta go, you know, balls to the wall because I'm the only dude that has to pit. Now when I come out, I'm going to be on softs. Everyone else is going to be on old hard. So it shouldn't be difficult for me to eat up the track to get back into, you know, top 3. Of course, I want to win. I want first place. You know, there's no 100% safe strategy, but yeah, we're doing really good. I'm still building a gap, and if you can see my fuel delta, it's 2 laps. So we built a lap of just from running lean. That's why we do it. That's why I do it. It's definitely not the fuel setting for overtaking, but if you can get out ahead of the pack, it's the perfect cruise fuel setting. And it also saves your engine, saves your tires as well, because the engine's not putting out as much power. So it's just a really good fuel setting for overall longevity. Alright, we're on lap 20 now. Gonna do mid-session save and catch up on chat. You should do this YouTube vid, Monaco, but preset 5 only? Yeah, true. Yes. Only preset 5 because Monaco is nuts. Like you need all the you need all the downforce you can get. Because you're not going too fast, so you need as much of it that the track will allow you to have. Only bad thing is I'm only 15, so I can't participate in esports until I'm 16. So I just gotta keep grinding, improving my skill level until then. Yeah, man, like you have a year, so you know, definitely just double down on that. And it's awesome to hear that you're young too, because driving is one of those professions that takes almost a lifetime to master. And so the best drivers in the world started young. You know, like Lewis, Nico, they all started at like 8 years old. Started karting at 8 years old. I'm 30. Okay, I'm 30. So I'm literally twice your age, and my overall trajectory of how good I can get is infinitely less than you. Like you're at the perfect stage to where you can build and grow your racecraft, because these video game sim racers are hyper realistic, so you have to pretty much apply the same thinking to mastering them as you would a real vehicle, you know, except it's so much more cheaper to play a video game than it is to buy a car and maintenance it and all, you know, buy fuel for it and all of that. Yeah, I'm 15 too, but I'm nearly not good enough. Hey, it's always a good time to start. I can tell you, when I first started playing racing sims myself, like seriously, I was 14. I was 14 when I started Gran Turismo, back on PlayStation 1. And you learn the significance of racing lines. You learn the significance of inertia, car roll, what that stuff means. And as games got better and more in depth, you know, I was able to build on those skills that I developed when I was a teenager. But yeah, like just you know, like McMahon said, YouTube's going to be your friend. Like learning that racecraft is so crucial, and you're young enough to where you can literally just do a hard reset and build on a good foundation. The worst thing you want to do is build on bad habits. That's the worst thing you want to do. Yeah, we just finished 30 minutes qualifying, finished P4. Nice, let's go. P4, that's what I'm talking about. You think Russell or Bottas deserves the second seat? At the moment, I would say Bottas because of his experience, but Russell's still young and less experienced, so eventually he will end up in the second seat. I think Russell should get the seat when the new cars come in next year. That's a good point, CD's nuts. And I didn't think about that. The new car would be a good way to really get Russell acclimated. My main point of contention would be Lewis, right? So if you're Toto Wolff, of course you want your new ace driver to learn under a 7-time world champion. You would be a fool to not, allow him that experience. At the same time, you could delay for a year, let Russell get used to the new car with Williams, and then bring him on to Mercedes. So you're actually saving yourself some training costs by doing it that way as well. But maybe you don't want Russell to pick up certain bad habits, right? If you're with a new car, you can literally, you're working with raw clay basically, and you can kind of mold him around that because Russell will learn the new car and he will be great at it. There's no doubt in my mind about that. It's just a matter of how much liability potentially are you willing to take on, right? Because Lewis is also going to have to learn the new car, and Mercedes has said publicly that they have put considerable resources into the 2022 car and research and development in the 2022 car. Because the new regulations that came in with the 2020 car had hurt Mercedes significantly. So Red Bull benefited a lot from those changes, and that's why the rivalry between Max and Lewis is so heated, because a lot of the advantages that Mercedes had was taken away from them by the FIA, whereas Red Bull only stood the game. They only stood the game. Like all they had to do was just improve.
15.5 seconds.
It's always easier to improve than it is to have stuff taken away, because now it's like, okay, now we have to like reconfigure our entire strategy, our racecraft, because Mercedes had the DOS system. The DOS system was a stroke of engineering genius, and I was kind of like bummed out that the FIA stepped in and said, okay, Mercedes, you can't use DOS anymore, instead of allowing other teams to kind of like develop their own answer for DOS. And for those of you who don't know what DOS is basically a tire management system that's tied to the steering wheel. So what you would do with DOS is, as you're driving, you would push the steering wheel into the cockpit, and that would change the camber of the tires, right? Allowing the less worn areas of the tires to become the primary mode of contact with the road, which dramatically increase the life of the tires, which results in less pits, which results in more performance per lap. And so if you put a system like that in the hands of an ace driver like Lewis, I mean, come on, like we saw what the results were. He completely destroyed the competition. He was unbeatable. And so the FIA says, okay, no, you can't do that anymore. 2020 regs are in, no DOS. And so now they don't have it, and 2021 is the same thing, they don't have the DOS system. But Red Bull has made considerable gains with their aero system and their power unit. So what we saw in Silverstone was that the Mercedes was more competitive in the turns, but the Red Bull was more competitive on the straights. Max had a better go at it with the power unit.
Approaching the pit window, you'll be on the softs.
All right, approaching pit window. But yeah, so we're basically in a situation now where Mercedes has to make that judgment call. So if you're Haas, it's easy, right? Because you're not finishing in the points anyway. You have two rookie drivers, both of them, well, Mick isn't a rookie. I think he was with Alfa Romeo prior to coming to Haas. But if you're the Haas racing team, yeah, like you have two rookie drivers, and the new regs are coming out next year, 2022. Like there's just no reason for you to put any money at all into the 2021 car. So when Mazepin, also known as a Mazepin, crashes, or when Mick has an accident, that really hurts, because it's like, we don't need you to really be competitive. We just need you to finish. We need you to test the car. We need you to finish. We need you to keep the car in one piece. 2022 is when we're going to try to be competitive. 2022 is when we're going to try to go for Alfa Romeo. All right. Ethan Curry, 00. Thanks for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, it's gonna be a challenge for sure, and I really am excited to see what Mercedes has in store for us with their new car in 2022. And you can bet Red Bull is also going to come out with something impressive. However, I think Horner really wants to win this time around. So I think, as far as their R&D spread's concerned, he's putting a lot of money into this year's car and developing it. And a lot of F1 fans don't know this, but Red Bull poached several Mercedes engineers just a couple of weeks ago. And so they're bringing their knowledge from Mercedes to Red Bull to further improve the car.
Window open. Let's box this lap.
So yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see how that affects 2022 as well. But yeah, Aston Martin actually poached some Red Bull engineers, so it's a battle. It's a battle. I think
our teammate by 18.6 seconds.
All right,
George is
so
in the pits. George in the pits.
Russell is pitting. I thought he was going for one stop. I don't know why he did a stint on hards. I don't know why his engineers told him to do that. Like that there's no sense. Why would you do that? I don't understand their reasoning. Like, yes, I'm the team owner, but I'm not the team principal. So I can't tell Russell's engineer to adopt my strategy. Because, like, if I could, I would just have him on my strategy. Russell can do it. You know, Russell's good enough. He can do soft, medium, soft stint. Or strategy, I should say. But no, like, they're literally on a hard stint. I'm not gonna pit yet though. I'm gonna milk these tires a little bit more. Because hold on. Yeah. So like 39%, I should pit, but I don't have to pit. And if I look here at my gap to Verstappen, I think I can do a little more. I just need to get around degrees. I'm lapping a lot of these guys, so we're gonna go try to get as much clean air as possible. I'm gonna do one more lap, but I am feeling the slip. I'm feeling the slip in my front left tire. But we're gonna go hard. I've got lap target +4, so about 4.5 laps of additional
Tire
fuel.
condition is still looking good.
And then I'm gonna gun it. Because we're down to 10 laps, so we can switch to softs at this point. But I want to see if I can do 2 seconds on Verstappen. Because Verstappen's on hards, so I will still be faster than him, even though I'm on old mediums. Okay, Stroll is out of the session. We're going to switch to rich fuel mix. So there'll be a, if he didn't pit, there'll be a yellow flag somewhere, but at least there isn't a red flag. Red flag would be the worst possible thing. All right, yeah, we got a yellow flag. So yellow flag, no overtaking. And yellow flag, they're short right there.
18.5 seconds.
All right, 18.5 seconds is our gap.
Okay,
so
clear.
we're good. Tires are still performing just fine. Again, there's a little slip, a little understeer, but we're at 19 seconds now. So if I can get to 20, I'll feel better, because I do have to pit, and I don't want to drag it out too long, because regardless of what I do, I am going to need to catch Verstappen, most likely, and I'm going to need at least 3 laps to do that with our current tech level. Alright, getting around Magnussen, lapping him. 19.4 seconds. 19.5. Alright, not fast enough. I'm going to hold out.
DRS will be offline. There's a fault with the rear wing system. Stay out. We can work on a fix remotely.
Okay, so I've just lost DRS. But from what the engineer just said, I can get a repair done software-wise. So they're going to do a remote patch and try to fix the DRS system. Which is, you know, like, these things happen. These things happen, but I did not want to hear that, because I need, after my pit, to be able to double down and go fast. And I can't go fast without my DRS. I'm going to need that.
You're increasing the gap to the car behind by a few seconds per lap. Keep this up.
But with enough of a gap, it shouldn't matter. And that's why I wanted 20 seconds of buffer. So it may all work out in the end. I'm just talking about the potential shortfalls. And we're at 21 seconds. And I'm pitting this lap, so I'm not even going to pay attention to my tires. They need to be swapped out. And for our fuel target plus 4 laps. Okay, there it is. And we're pitting. Bring it down, bring it down. I think Russell should get the new seat when the new car's coming next year. Yeah, I can see that. I hope Lando's okay. Yeah, I haven't watched the qualifying yet, but you saying that about Lando has got me worried already, because I love Lando. So, man, I'm emotionally preparing myself for disappointment, because we were just talking about that earlier, Ethan Curry. We were just talking about that earlier about Spa, and how it's a track that you have to respect. And as McBain said, you have to find a line and stick hard to it, because it's such a dynamic course. It's one of my favorite courses in the FIA sphere. Like, I love racing that course in every game that I can drive on a course in. But yeah, it's such a it's killed a driver, you know, Anton Herbert. And yeah, we've had multiple spin outs over this weekend in practice 1, practice 2. And so, you know, from the sound of things, Lando wiped out. Man, that's gonna be rough. So I'm gonna watch that, and then I'm going to go to his social media and McLaren's Twitter to see what they're saying about it. But yeah, Spa is a beast.
Let's use that overtake button more.
It's claimed lives, it's claimed cars. Like, it's a track that you have to be so careful on. And the worst thing is, it's different, you know, because of the flooding. So they had to, you know, repave some spots. And so if you're someone who's driven on Spa before, and, you know, Norris has, as with every other driver that's on the grid, you're going to be going in there expecting one thing, and it's not going to be that thing that you expect. And that's what's really bad about it. But to go back to my race, the strategy has worked beautifully. I've got a 7-second gap on Verstappen. I'm on softs. I'm home free. As long as I don't screw up, I'm home free. And I'm racing standard fuel mix. I'm not even going to go with the rich fuel mix because I don't need to. So they're blue flagging Latifi. And
The
Nikki's
gap
letting
to
me
the car
by.
behind is 8.2 seconds.
And they're gonna blue flag Giovinazzi and DeVries. They're gonna let me by. So honestly, even though this was like the worst start I've had this season, this is probably the best race I've had this season. I have never done so much overtaking. The car is just performing beautifully. You know, I think this is gonna be Golf Squad circuit. And Russell is even doing better than he's ever done before. Like, this is amazing. Or maybe it's because you guys are in chat and you're giving us good luck, all of you racing fans who've come in the chat. I can't pinpoint where it is, but it's working. Whatever it is, it's working. This is brilliant. This Russell is in third, and he just needs to hold third. Bottas is behind him. So Bottas is going to be trying to employ his racecraft. But, you know, hopefully we don't have a repeat of what happened earlier this year. And, you know, Russell and Bottas doesn't have that, that shunt incident. But there's really not much space to go off track in Vandervoort, you know what I mean? So, alright, Magnussen's gonna let me by. We're on lap 31. So we're looking at potentially franchise history, boys. If Russell can keep it tight, we're going to be looking at the first double podium in Golf Squad Racing's history. The first double podium. So I got to make sure I don't screw up, and Russell's got to make sure that he keeps it tight. Now, of course, you know, mechanical failures can happen. I pray that we do not have any additional failures. I've already lost DRS, but thank God I didn't have to use it because I built enough of a gap between myself and Verstappen that I didn't have to worry about chasing anyone down, which was the optimal reality of the strategy. That was the best case scenario, and it happened. And it's nice when a plan comes together, a strategy actually works out. Yeah, the softs are hot now, and you can see just in my lap times, like I'm constantly lap after lap setting fastest lap because as these tires heat up, they get really, really sticky and they just rip onto the asphalt. And as a driver, that's what you want. That's the best case scenario. It's like freshly baked bread. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm sure you guys have had freshly baked bread before, but there are a few other pleasures in life that match freshly baked bread, okay? And that's these tires. You know, when they get hot and they're ready and they're fresh out of the oven, they perform beautifully. Just beautifully. And Russell is still holding it in third. That's good. That's good. Got 3 laps to go, so keep it tight, my friend. Keep it tight. Alright, so yeah, this is the turn that you gotta watch yourself. Because, you know, that decline is hell on your arrow, and it can definitely lead to a lot of understeer. And, you know, we want to avoid that if at all possible. It's better to lose a little time and keep your car stable than to crash. You know what I mean? So, alright, coming up on Sebastian Ocon. And that was back when Renault was Renault, now it's Alpine, which is their performance brand. So it's still Renault, it's just Alpine now.
Increasing our gap on the car behind by around a second a lap.
Yeah, that's what I hope to hear. So the gap increase is just the natural reality of tire compound. It's physics. I'm on softs, he's on hard.
Laps of fuel remaining.
There's no way you're gonna beat out a car, even if the person's a much worse driver than you. If they're on softs and you're on hards, they're gonna beat you. That would be the situation in which the power unit wouldn't matter as much. Like if you're going up against a beefier car, but you have a better tire compound, you'll come out on top 8 out of 10 times. Because the differences between these cars aren't that great because of the FIA regulations. So, you know, when we're talking about beefier power units, we're talking about something that's like in. All right, final lap. The reason why I'm saving, 2 reasons. I've had my game crash on me before, like in final lap, and that sucks. Finished P4, got overtaken on the last lap. I was 0.2 of 300, so a second away from podium. Oh man, that's like what happened to Leclerc. That's what happened to Leclerc earlier this season. Like he was so close to winning, and he went off the track and got passed because he lost time. That hurts. That hurts. Sending you a virtual hug. There is few more disappointing things than that, to like be knocked out of the podium to a last second overtake. Like that hurts. Like losing first and finishing second stings, but losing third and finishing fourth hurts even more, because now you're not on the podium at all. If you finish 5th or later, you know, obviously it's not the podium, but it's not the worst. It's like, to me, in my mind, whenever I've had that happen to me, that was the most frustrating things. Had 3rd, finished 4th, or had 1st, finished 2nd. If I, you know, slipped from 2nd to 3rd, no big deal. I didn't really care, but it was just those 2 situations. And of course, finishing last, right? Finishing last is the worst of all outcomes. You never want to finish last. That annoyed me. Still very good though. Yeah, but I could have done better as well. Yeah. And honestly, that's the champion's attitude. That's the Apex attitude. You know, when Leclerc had lost first, and he was, even though he had finished on the podium, and he still, you know, did really well. And his team was like, "Awesome race, Charles. You did really well." He was pounding his steering wheel. He was cursing into the radio, calling himself a fucking idiot, because, you know, it's that hunger. Like it will not allow you to settle for less when you know that you could have done better. So yeah, I understand that feeling all too well. It hurts. You know, especially in a competitive environment. You know, you're racing against boss, that's one thing. It still stings, but, you know, racing against other players, like, it's just that you just want that win. You just want it so bad.
Gap to teammate behind is 23.
But it also lets you know that you're in good company. You know, when you're in a situation where you can still lose on the last lap of a race, you know you're racing with good rivals. You know you're racing with people that are going to help you grow and help you develop your racecraft. And we saw with Fernando Alonso, um, last Sunday, just well, not last Sunday, but in Hungary, the last race before the break, he made Lewis work. He made Lewis work for that pass. Did Lewis pass? Yes, but if it wasn't for Alonso, Ocon would not have won that race. Hamilton, without a doubt, would have beat him. So he did an amazing thing as a teammate, and that's that's the kind of stuff that you learn to do over the years.
That's a race win. You've really been great today.
But yeah, man, strategy came together. Started 10th, finished first. This was a beautiful race. This was the best race I've ever had since playing Formula One. Like, honestly.
Difficult race then on a circuit that demands complete concentration, but they've persevered to take the win here today.
That's awesome.
So Anthony,
I'm
what
buzzing
made the
right now.
difference out there today?
Well, Crofty, this was won through an abundance of speed and an abundance of skillful overtakes. Inside, outside, cutting.
Our
underneath,
first double
we saw it
podium.
all today, and it's really nice to see a Grand Prix won in that manner. A race, surely, that will satisfy the purists today, I think.
The faces on our top three look so incredibly happy as they make their way up to the podium. A much-deserved victory and a brilliant performance from them all.
Had to get that one for the scrapbook. Or hanging up there with Max. Ah, man, that's such a good feeling. So, Russell, worth every penny. Just his growth, race after race, has been phenomenal. And I've made sure that we've made him a priority as far as developing him, putting him in the sims, putting him in workout regimens, giving him everything he
Let's see
needed
what effect this
to
result
perform,
has had
and he's doing it.
on the drivers' standings. The Professor takes over the lead of the Drivers' Championship. So, Anthony Davidson, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
I have to give it to the Professor. Look at where they finished compared to where they started. It's not easy to cut through the field like that in Formula One, so it was a great effort.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. The owner-drivers team moved to the top of the table. Meanwhile, a strong weekend from Red Bull this time out, and they improved their position in the championship. Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
That's beautiful. I just gotta soak this in. I never thought so soon that we'd be ahead of Mercedes at any point in the Constructors' Championship. Are you kidding me? Wow, that was beautiful. So Xanderford is, we have to put this in a scrapbook. Like, this is the best race we've ever had. This is our best performance as a team we've ever had. Russell's best performance, my best performance. I haven't had a race where I started 10th and finished first. So yeah, awesome. Pop plenty of bubbly. The team did an outstanding job. Cars performed well. I have nothing bad to say.
Exciting race from our perspective. Let's have yours. You gained a lot of positions during the race, didn't you?
So what I would probably say that we got to give it to the tires. Yeah, in the aero department.
Learn from his battle with you?
I think they learned it's not easy to go against someone like me. Drivers are constantly learning from each other. We're both better for it. They have learned that they'll need a better car.
You're surpassing all expectations. Can anything or anyone stop you?
With this team behind me, I don't think so. That's a clean rating, not for my current power unit. It's amazing with this aero package. I don't think so.
Your teammate is up on the podium today. This is a great thing for the team, isn't it?
No one can take credit for that result apart from the driver. They just knew how to handle this car's chassis. It's fantastic. Not many cars on the grid can be driven as hard as that. It's amazing culmination of everything we've been working towards.
Appreciate your time.
Which is true. Like everything we did got us to this point, and it's beautiful. So now it's a matter of keeping that momentum into the remainder of the season, and we can probably get our first constructors champion. But Russell was the man, worth every penny, every penny. So yeah, we missed out on that bonus because we didn't get Paul for qualifying, right? But you know, we hit all of our other targets, and we're sitting on $24 million. The only reason I haven't invested that money in our facilities is because contract time's coming up. I'm keeping Russell, and I'm pretty much gonna pay him for what I'm gonna pay him whatever he asks for. So that's that's it. That's that. All right, so let's take a look here. Yeah, Spanish Grand Prix is like right after each other, so we don't really have much time to train much. I think, but we do need to party. So like normally I'd be like, yeah, yeah, let's do business. Like no, no, we won't do it this time. We really, we deserve some celebration after that. Like we really deserve that. All right, so let's go back to our tech. Um, so as you can see, we're towards the bottom of the field when it comes to aero. Aero is something that I really haven't invested in very much. Like I said, it was power unit and durability that I focused on, but now we're at the point to where we need to focus on our aerodynamics and kind of get that up. So I can max out durability. I can max out powertrain. Because we have plenty of power available. We do have enough for the fuel injection system, so we're gonna go ahead and invest in that. And we probably should just go ahead and max out powertrain and just get that done. We should have that done by the end of the season for sure. Durability's been doing really well. And again, what happened with the DRS, that's rare. That really doesn't happen all that often. I'm still satisfied with how the team has maintained the durability of the car. I've pretty much been able to throw everything that I could at it. So as you can see, going back to the 29th, that was the Vietnam Grand Prix, I believe. And yeah, finished fourth in that one. Started from the back of the grid, didn't finish first, and then of course, Australia was like the worst. Literally finished in last. That was a rough race. It was rainy, and it's a race that I want to forget. But yeah, put it behind you, learn from it, and yeah.
Our new parts have been completed without issue. They'll be on the car ready for the next race weekend.
All right, so I'm gonna wrap things up here. We've done the race. That was almost 3 hours. So tomorrow, I'm going to stream probably more F1 because it seems like you guys are a fan of that. So, and I love this game, and I do plan on getting F1 2021 as well, but it'll be after the race for sure. So I'm gonna try to catch the race live, and we can talk about the race and play F1 at the same time. So take care, everyone, and thank you for the follows. CDs Nuts, McMahon FN, Ethy Curry, everyone else who came by. Take it easy, and yeah, I'll catch you guys next time.